Welcome, everybody. Rob here for our BSPU call this week. Excited to be with you guys. I'm going to put some pieces together for you today. I'm going to share my screen, show you some things that we're working on. I'm going to go to the whiteboard as well. The message that went out to you was, I want to award you. I want to reward you. I want to give you something. So please show up. So I am going to do that. I want to talk specifically about what that is, but I want to explain all of the ideas and thoughts behind it before we get into the nitty gritty. So let me share my screen and let's just go ahead and dive right in. This was the post that I put up. For those of you that are not in the Facebook group, you should probably be in it. But I asked big questions, spoke to a past client the other day and found out that he started a new business with his book and is doing close to $1 million per year now. That got me thinking, we probably have a number of clients who have done that, and I want to honor you. So what would you think of receiving an award where when you earn over $100,000 from your book? That's to your business, not royalties. And another one for those of you that are over $1 million with your book. Comment below on your thoughts. And I said, this is an image of a recent award I got from ClickFunnels for doing over $10 million using ClickFunnels. And it's probably it's a lot closer to 20 million than it is 10 right now. So the idea that I'm going to bring all together towards the end, the idea is elevating you, rewarding you, featuring you. And I want to talk a little bit about the ideas behind it so that you can think about this for your own clients. And I want to talk to you as well about what we're doing at Bestseller Publishing and kind of what, one of the things that we're going to be starting very soon is. And I want to put these pieces for you together. So last week, if you were on, great. If you weren't, don't worry about it. I'll give you a brief recap. Last week, we talked about knowing one big metric in your business, one big metric. And I'm going to move this camera here so that I can write on the whiteboard in front of me. One big metric that really moves the needle in your business. Now, that's the 80-20 rule idea. And that is that, 20% of what you're doing is getting 80% of your results. If you track where your results come from, where your clients come from, et cetera, then most certainly you'll be able to see what those things are. And what that means in an inverse way is 80% of what you do only produces about 20% of the results. So do more of what is best for you and for your business. I shared last week that at Russell Brunson's Inner Circle meeting, one of the guys that shared, Bill Allen, who runs a big real estate investing mastermind group, coaching group, said that basically what they're doing and what they noticed is that people have to go to a certain number of their events before they sign up for their higher ticket mastermind offerings. And that's usually $25,000 to $50,000. And they have to go to 2.5 events on average. The problem, Bill said, was that they only did 4 or 5 events a year. So it meant that oftentimes, unless people went to one event right after the other, that there was this elongated sales process because people weren't consuming enough content to trust making a purchase that large. So what he decided to do, and which has really moved the needle tremendously for him, is he decided to start doing 60 events per year. Now, I'm not talking about big live 3-day events, et cetera, but I'm talking about getting in front of his ideal clients on a weekly basis in some kind of way. Now, he runs his own RIA, which is a real estate investing group in Nashville. He has a big event center, so he brings people in and he live streams it into his group. This got me thinking because really, I went back and looked at my numbers, and through the first 3 months, I found that exactly 50% of our clients that we brought on, new customers that came on in January, February, and March of 2022, this year, exactly half of them came on because of 2 things that I did. And those were live events where I'm speaking. One was a challenge and one was a workshop. The other half came from everything else that we did, which is our application funnels, book funnels, all the other various things. So what did that tell me? That told me, number one, that I need to do more of that. So we immediately made a plan, and I announced this last week, that we are going to start doing more of these live events where I'm not making any offer. I'm telling people right out of the gate, look, leave your credit card at home. There's nothing for you to buy, etc. However, I will give people at the end a way that they can have a one-on-one call with one of our author development coaches. But I'm going to help people. I'm going to show them our enhanced ghostwriting process. I'm going to teach people how to market their books. I'm going to do all the things that I do on the challenge and much, much, much more, because I'm going to be doing it every single week in a live training. So that is all the backdrop. Okay. So I've given you the backdrop. For me, the backdrop is the idea of doing more of what really moves the needle for us, which is live type events / me speaking. Okay. And I'm not talking about spending a ton of money, selling tickets every single week or anything like that. So I began thinking, okay, what does all of this look like for me for bestseller publishing if I'm going to be doing this on a weekly basis? Well, number one, I started thinking, well, I need a container for this, right? I need a place where all of these trainings can live and people can access them. And ideally, people can find them so that, I might have done this specific training on enhanced ghostwriting 3 months ago, but people are still finding it today because they're attracted to the concept or whatever. I don't want it to be just one and done. I want a container where this traffic, where these trainings can live, so people can always go back to it and or new people can find it. So for me, I thought, well, that seems to, lead me at least to one conclusion, and that is that I should have some kind of Facebook group that not only will I have weekly live trainings where I can go live in the group and where those trainings will live forever, but there can be much more interaction, much more engagement, etc. So as an example, you guys know that I do challenges on a regular basis, regular meaning 4 times a year. I do workshops, etc. One of the cool things about Facebook groups in particular, when it comes to speaking, is, I do these challenge groups and they're really pop-up groups, right? I don't do anything with these groups after the challenge, but look at the engagement. Here's a pop-up group that didn't even exist before I started driving traffic to it, put everybody in the group. And, here's a group, the first post, 418 people commented on it. I was only in this group for 5 days, 5 days. And we have 1,000 people seeing it, dozens of people liking it, loving it, hundreds of people commenting on it and engaging with it. You'll see tons of that, right? Like every single one of these posts have tons of comments and engagements. Here's day 2 of the challenge, 64 comments. Day 3 of the challenge, 47 comments. This post, 100 people saw it, 100 comments. Day 3 of the challenge. And these trainings continue to live on, and people still, even though this group is for all intents and purposes dead, like I've never gone back to it, we've never posted in it again, people still find it and people still engage with me, right? So I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to do a Facebook group, and I've never really done an extended Facebook group, I know I have one for you, my done for you clients, that's our, the bestseller publishing mastermind. And that's where I posted this particular image. But the reality is, that's really like the only group. And those are you guys that have already paid me to become clients. And this is where we, share about the trainings that we're doing or various other things. But, quite honestly, we're not tremendously active in this group. Probably should do a better job. And I'm actually going to talk to the team about what we can do. And I'll share more with you on that in just a moment. But I thought, okay, if I'm going to do a Facebook group, and it's not going to be, a client facing group that has 1,000 members in it, but it's going to be something that, maybe has 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 people in it. I really need to know how to do this. I know how to do these pop-up groups. I know how to get super engagement from the training that I do and from a challenge or a workshop or whatever. But I really need to, I'm the guy like many of you, that wants to write a check to someone and you're good at that, you go ahead and do it for me, etc. Or you teach someone on my team to do it. So I began doing a little bit of research and I found these guys, Clients and Community. Maybe many of you know who they are and what this is, this company, but basically they teach people how to run Facebook groups, specifically in the expert space, coaches and consultants. They have 42,000 people in the group. They get people to the group with paid advertising. And listen to this. This is their only marketing strategy. And they do over $1 million a month out of this Facebook group. $1 million a month out of a Facebook group. I was stunned when I saw those numbers and saw the proof of it. So what did I do? Well, I bought their stuff, right? I bought their book. I bought their training. I bought some of their Facebook templates and that kind of thing. And, you know, I mean, what they do is really not that complicated, but there is kind of a step-by-step process in it. But again, I thought, okay, well, number one, I need this container. And if I'm going to have this container for my lives that I'm doing, and they're going to live there forever, then let's just make sure that it's the kind of container that isn't just a placeholder for my trainings, right? I can put those on YouTube, but is a place where there's actual real engagement. Remember, the real power of the Facebook group when it comes to a challenge is the engagement. It's that hundreds of people are engaged and they're intensely going through the training in a very short period of time. And so there's this connection, and they don't want that connection to end. They want to go to the next level. So the container for my trainings, my weekly live events that I'm going to be doing, is going to be a Facebook group, and it's going to be modeled after what these guys do with clients and community. I want to show you exactly what we're doing so that you understand. Number two, I shared last week as well that what I want to do is I want to feature some of you, my bestseller publishing clients, who have had success in the ways that the people that are going to be on my lives want to emulate, right? They want to get their book done. Maybe they've been trying to get their book completed for 5 years or 10 years or who knows how long. They want to be bestsellers. Last week, we launched Josh Coates's book to Wall Street Journal and USA Today. It was #2 on the Wall Street Journal list for business books. That's a list of only 10 people in a week. He was #2. I mean, that is massive, massive success. So I want to feature some of you, have you on, be a guest speaker, or rather than a presenter, we could do a Q&A almost like a podcast, give you, an opportunity to maybe drive some people to buy your books, maybe drive some people to buy your course or to get coached from you, and for you to share about what was successful and what you're doing with your book to experience success, right? So this idea of featuring you is to show that success is possible, success with you is possible, maybe even to talk about the hurdles that you overcame, the challenges, maybe how bestseller publishing helped you, et cetera, but feature you, which would be both beneficial to you, beneficial to me and bestseller publishing, and beneficial to the community that we're speaking to. And so if we're going to be featuring you, then the idea as well is we want to highlight you. And along with highlighting you means to award or reward you in some way. Now, a bit of a confession, I should have been doing this all along. And in fact, I used to do this. And for whatever reason, part of it was because the trophy shop was right across the street from my office and they closed up. But for whatever reason, we stopped giving out awards for those of you that hit bestseller, which is every one of my clients that is a done for you bestseller publishing customer. And so number one, I want to ask for your apology in that regard, because you should be highlighted and rewarded for that success. It is significant. It is real. You weren't a bestseller on a minor category for 3 minutes or 3 hours. You were a bestseller minimum for the entire week, just like the Wall Street Journal does it, just like USA Today, just like the New York Times. And you were, because of the marketing, because of your content, because of your book, you were and should be rewarded as a bestseller. So number one, I want to do that for you. So I'm going to put a post in the Facebook group, and I'm also going to email everybody. And if you haven't received one, I want to get one out to you. Now, it's going to take a little bit of time because I know there's probably going to be a lot of you that, probably we haven't given out many in the last couple of years. And, we bring on, 150 or so clients a year. So there's probably going to be a pretty good sized list of those of you. But number two, and along these lines, is that, as you know, my ideal client, the book is a means to an end. Now, it is an end in itself because, having a best-selling book, right, like Publish, Promote, Profit back there, having a best-selling book is rewarding. It is a sense of accomplishment that very, very few people in this world ever get. But for most of us, we came into this not just to have the best-selling book, but also to be able to use that best-selling book to reach a level of success, to get speaking engagements that lead to new customers, to get on podcast or radio or television that leads to new customers, to use it as a lead generation tool that leads to new customers, to use it as a framing tool, right? Where maybe you already have a conversation with a potential customer, but they didn't really know who you were. And now you send them a copy of your book, or like my client, Mike Bell does, because he's a local realtor, but he is selling homes $2 to $10 million. He brings the book, and that book frames him as one of a kind in his marketplace and helps him to close deals. So I want to highlight you, those of you that are using your books to make money. And so I want to have two award levels. Those of you who have used your book to make over 100,000, the 6-figure award, and those who have used your book to make over 7 figures, to make over $1 million. Now, let me just be clear on what that looks like. Like Amy Dix already said, yeah, Rob, I'm well over $100,000 in the use of my book. We're not talking about royalties here. If you've made over 100 grand in royalties, you're in rare air, right? I mean, I've sold probably 75,000 copies of my book. Maybe I'm approaching it in royalties, but truth be told, that's a fraction of what I've done with Publish, Promote, Profit. So what does it look like? Well, it looks like if you've used your book to get on a speaking engagement, a speaking platform, and that speaking platform led you to close deals that are 10,000, 15,000. I had a client that did 700,000 in deals in one speaking engagement. Well, let me tell you, that was directly due to the book landing him that engagement. He shared that directly with me. Or maybe you're using your book to generate leads in some way. I use a free plus shipping funnel, but you could even use your book to generate leads in a very kind of referral networking kind of way, face-to-face, belly-to-belly. There's lots of different ways to do it. If your book is helping you to generate revenue, I want to reward you, and I want to talk to you about how that is happening. Some of this was spurred on because of a conversation I had last Wednesday or Thursday with a client that we launched a book for probably 2 years ago. And Craig Ware is his name. Craig's a great guy, really smart guy, financial advisor, and was, basically semi-retired, had, sold his prior business. And we talked about how he could use that book to kind of start up an entirely new business, and then use that book to drive leads, close deals, et cetera. And I never knew what came of our conversation. I never knew if he did anything with it. He didn't need to. And I got a random email last week from him and said, hey, Rob, I'm interested in doing my next book. I want to talk to you about it. And oh, by the way, the business that you had recommended that I start from the previous book is now doing close to $1 million a year. And it's been a couple of years. And I'm like, holy cow. I mean, how many more of you are there like that? I would like to know that. And I said, hey, Craig, we need to do a podcast interview because I want to share with my clients and others exactly how you're doing it, because I know he's not doing it with a lot of paid advertising and traffic. He's doing it in other ways that are unique and interesting. So for us, again, this goes back to what I taught last week, and that is finding, the metric in your business. And for us, that metric was live events and speaking. And for me to do more of it, not with me pitching at the end, but just sending people to a call, but still, while they're with me, they're getting accustomed to who we are. They're deciding if they know, like, and trust us, and that will move them to the next step. And then these three things are the pieces of the rest of the puzzle. The container is the Facebook group for me. And that Facebook group is not just going to be a dead container. It's going to be something that we're going to have several of our BSP partners, BSP team, the employees of the company that are going to be involved in, that are going to be sharing content, that are going to be engaging, that are going to be great admins. Some of you I will ask to be administrators in the group if you want to be, only if you're interested in doing that. I want to feature your success that will both prove to other people that it is possible, helps them to have their own conviction that they can do it, right? And then I want to highlight, reward you, which I believe I think it'll make you feel good. It certainly made me feel good to get, this ClickFunnels award. But beyond that, it further positions you as the expert in your industry. And who knows, the platforms that will put you on. It will certainly put you on my platform because I'm going to highlight you in the group. I'm going to highlight you perhaps even in my marketing and advertising, which is going to help you to be more known, and which in turn will drive customers, more customers, traffic, et cetera, to you. This is something that Russell Brunson does very, very well in ClickFunnels by awarding and highlighting those who are successful. And when he does that, because he has a big platform, there is business that comes to me naturally because of the awards that I have received. And I believe and want to create the exact same thing for you. So these are the three pieces to the backdrop of the live events and the speaking. So in the next 3 or 4 days, there are quite a few elements that I have to put together because I want to do this right. I want to do this strongly. I've gone through the training. I have the team in place to do it. But you'll see over the next few days that we'll launch this group. We'll immediately begin our weekly live calls, which I'm going to be doing probably 30 minutes to an hour of live training, mostly PowerPoint probably. And then I'll start setting you guys up, those of you who are interested in being a part of it, as interviews, as those that can share the success that you've had with your own book, how you've used your book, and can pass that knowledge on to other people. But beyond that, can also, maybe drive your own traffic and leads to yourself and in your business. So that's kind of the idea. That post that I made today is not the end. It's a piece to all of these things that we're doing at Bestseller Publishing. So lastly, why don't I put this together for you? Just kind of explain the way you need to be thinking about it. By all means, if you haven't gotten an award and we launched your book, you're a done for you client, we launched your book to bestseller, I'm going to put a post up in our BSP mastermind area, and I want you to comment below, and we'll get in touch and we'll make sure that you get your award. Give us a little bit of time. Any of you who have done over 100,000 from your book, again, not in royalties, but you've used your book to get on a speaking engagement, you've used your book to get many speaking engagements, you've used your book to close deals, you've used your book to generate leads, any way that you've used your book and it has led to you making more money. If you've crossed the 6-figure mark, I'd like to know that. If you've crossed the 7-figure mark, I'd like to know that. We'll have a conversation about it. Then I have 2 really, really nice gifts based on our 6-figure authors and our 7-figure authors. So I'll put this together for you. Number one, from last week, do you know the one metric in your business that is going to help you or has helped you to receive 80% of your clients, 80% of your results, right? Do you know your 80-20? Do you know the thing that you do that really moves the needle the most? Okay. If you know what that is, fantastic. Whatever that thing is, for me, I mean, we only do 2 things, right? We type and we talk. So you're either typing or you're talking to attract clients. Now, you can talk on lots of different platforms, speaking, podcast, et cetera. You can type on lots of different platforms. You're a blogger, you post on social media, et cetera. Whatever it is for you that you're doing that is getting you the lion's share of your results, you need to add to it a couple of pieces. You need your own container. where you want to keep these things that continually drives an influx of fresh customers, fresh ideas, fresh blood of people that are interested in having the result that you can offer them, whatever that is and whatever your business is. That's number one. You need your own container. Number two, you have client success stories. You have people that you have helped. Highlight those people. Give those people their own voice within your community. It will elevate them. It will strengthen them. It will strengthen their own convictions, right? They'll begin doing more of what you taught them, right? The fact that you're going to be on a podcast of mine or on the Facebook group sharing about what you're doing, it's going to strengthen your own convictions about how you need to do more of that. It's going to make you more successful. And then highlight and award those people. Make those people a pillar within your own community. If you can find a way, get customers to them, get opportunities to them. If in your case, you want speaking, I want to get speaking engagements for you, right? I'm not looking to be compensated for that. But if you can get that within my community, I want that. And I want to highlight you and award you. Do that same thing for your own customers. Find a way, find the one thing, build a container for it, feature the success of your clients, those who have gone through your process and done well, and then highlight, award, reward those people, because those people are the pillars of your community. So I hope that's helpful to you. You're going to see all of this come together just in the next 7 to 14 days. I am going to share exactly what we're doing as we do it, and I hope it'll be super, super helpful for you.